Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I do want to say off the bat, I am impressed with the special effects in this film. While they're not great, they are definitely well above the lowest tier Nick Cage special effects we've ever seen. White Jag.
Rude.
Yeah. As far as like CG animals go, yes, the vultures were better done.
The first few vulture shots, I was like, is that a real fucking bird?
Until it flies, and then you're like, ah, look at that. It looks like one of those rubber bats on a string.
Yeah.
Just dangling across.
But
So obviously we're talking about 2015's Pay the Ghost.
Or as I like to call it, pay the bills.
Oh,
Hi-oh.
but accurate. I mean, it is in that window.
Yeah, it's a terrible
2015.
film. Well,
Also, real quick, welcome back to Cage Magical and Roundabout Way meeting Nicolas Cage. I'm Sean, here with my co-host
Nick.
and our producer.
Peter.
And it's been a
Super
minute since we've
fast.
done this, so just gonna throw that in there in case anyone's forgot. I mean, it's mostly just been a long time for us. It's been like a month since we've recorded.
But we're back, bitches.
Anyway, yeah, Pay the Ghost, 2015, starring Nicolas Cage and Laurie from The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Also,
I
also, she was Anita Dick in Letterkenny.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it was funny. Had you not mentioned that she was from The Walking Dead, I would have done exactly what you did, Sean, and I would have just been like, why do I know her face?
Yeah.
She's not a great actress.
No, she wasn't.
And then I saw she was Laurie from The Walking Dead. I'm like, that's why she's annoying.
She was just like, in my opinion, a terrible wife.
Well, so I had got confused with the dynamics of this. Like, what was the kid, Charlie, was he actually Nick Cage's kid, or was it her kid and Nick Cage was like
No, I
husband
think-
to or something?
It was his kid.
Yeah, I think it was like their
She kept
kid,
being like,
their child together.
It's my son. You lost my son. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's
She's
our
grieving.
son.
Yeah, you want to have that fight then? You want to argue semantics then?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
I would definitely pull out the paternity test, because if it wasn't my child, I'd be like, well, why the fuck didn't you protect him?
Yeah, this is you. This is your fault.
Yeah.
You sent him off with a strange person
Yeah.
to a
Clearly.
carnival.
Everybody knows you don't let your kids go out with a literary professor.
Yeah, exactly.
How old is Charlie supposed to be?
I think he's supposed to be like 6 or 8 or something like that. You know, he's
He was supposed to start second grade
so he's like 8.
the year after, so he
Yeah.
was in first grade.
Oh, so that's a good question. So he comes back from. Well, let's do a plot summary, and then I
Yeah,
want to get
let's
into that
get
because
there.
I'm really confused. What grade of school does he go into then? Like, it's been a year that he was gone.
Yeah. But he didn't learn anything.
And he
so
didn't
you
age.
definitely hold him back.
Yeah, that's true.
The basic premise of this film is Nicolas Cage is a workaholic English professor who's a good father, but just busy. Like, all intents and purposes, we don't see him be like a horrible father. He's just busy.
Yeah, he's in a busy
takes-
time of his life.
Yeah, and he's trying to get tenure, so it kind of makes sense. It's Halloween. His kid's like wants to go out and really wants to be with dad, but he gets home late, so he takes his kid to a Halloween fair, carnival across the street, and then the kid goes missing. Hard cut to a year later. That's the first half hour of the film. Hard cut to a year later, and like Nick Cage he's all stringboarded up. He's in his like shitty bachelor apartment because he's estranged from his wife, and he's trying to like he starts hearing his son Charlie like out on the streets of New York, and starts seeing these signs to pay the ghost, and it turns into a really bad like fucking Silent Hill in the like the back half, and is generally not great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The one piece of this that really, really bugged me. I mean, I get when movies need to have like some exposition machine, but I hated when they were at the Celtic like ceremony and they're like talking to that lady and she's like, I'm just a teacher from Montauk or whatever. And then she's
all
like,
I can tell
here's
you is
all the
literally
information.
everything. I wrote that in my notes. I was like, oh my God. And then immediately after that, the second half of the story gets filled in by his like literary like research partner.
Exactly.
Just like, oh, here's the second half.
And it's like a long scene too. And she's just, and this happens, and then this happens, and the rules are the veil is opened at this point, but only for this amount of time. And 3 children are taken, and those children can come back within 1 year. It's like, how the fuck? How do you know all this stuff, lady?
It turned from like, this is a fun school activity to witchcraft is real, and I know about it.
Also, that was the nicest alleyway New York has ever seen. It's so spacious.
Yeah, for real.
Like, no wonder. Like, people should be moving into that alleyway. There is just room for activities.
Lots of activities, lots of burning.
Yeah.
So the thing that bugged me about this movie, I mean, there's several things.
The other thing that bugged you.
One extremely specific thing that bugged me, the fucking vultures. Like, Nick Cage goes into that, like, broken down hovel to, like, find the homeless people and the pay the ghost sign. Mm-hmm. There's just, like, 3 vultures on a dumpster. And he's not, like,
just chewing away.
New York vultures. Like, what the fuck? Those don't live there. They don't. If I saw a vulture in New York City, I'd be like, that's fucking weird. Yeah. Something is wrong here.
Your entire life of living in New York, and all of a sudden you just start seeing vultures.
Something bad is going on. These are harbingers of doom. Like, what the fuck is happening in New York City right now?
I mean, I'm not like a superstitious person, but if I started seeing something that was even like vaguely omenish, omenesque.
Yeah, omenesque. I prefer Rubenesque.
Ooh. With sauerkraut and corned beef inside the chocolate.
Exactly. Oh.
Yeah, it's like a chocolate covered Reuben.
I would try that, but that does sound repulsive.
I would definitely try that. This is mildly fucking pedantic, but when does that stop me? Something that really bugged me was the kid's fucking pirate costume. Just give him a shitty fucking eye patch. Why are you like painting a fucking eye patch on the kid? When I was a kid, we suffered for our Halloween costumes. I could barely breathe in most of my masks, and like the eye slits were so tiny, I was wandering into traffic. Now you got these soft kids with their fucking fake like.
How do you know these kids are soft?
Batman Forever muscles like on their costumes. I had to work for those muscles as a kid.
You were young Hercules.
So I want to just wrap up that little teacher scene with the exposition dump with when he showed her that symbol, the maiden mother crone thingy. And she's like, oh, it's this. It's the most devastating of all symbols. Here, I happen to have a pendant with that featured on it.
I'm just wearing it right now.
There's some fucking weird choices in how they give us all the information.
So then the other exposition dump that you were talking about with his like research buddy.
Yeah, right before she gets tossed out the window by the ghost.
Right. But then she walks past that statue of like the bustiest bare-breasted woman being like burned at the stake, I think.
I want to go to this college. This place is great.
I will say that scene specifically, because my brain is my brain, like when she comes out of the office, hair pulled back, wearing that like slightly too short overcoat. And I'm just like, I've seen this adult documentary.
Yeah.
And then there was the booby statue. I'm like, I've definitely seen this adult documentary.
Yeah. And then she went down all the way down.
All the way.
And that was just...
Why did the ghost need to kill her?
I think because she had like...
Because she figured out her name?
Yeah. Like,
and names have power?
Or maybe
we gotta ask that teacher.
I don't like my story being told ghost.
I guess.
Well, I mean, maybe it's like too much of a clue.
Same reason she killed the psychic medium, but the real answer is just to progress the plot.
Yeah, that's boring though.
Ultimately, just that's where this movie... I could forgive this movie if, one, you cut the fucking 30-minute intro.
Yeah, a tight 60 would be great.
There's no chemistry between him and his wife at the beginning of this film.
No.
The kid's not a terrible actor. I don't hate the kid.
Oh man, I thought the kid was awful. I hated
I love
that
you,
child.
Dad. Yeah.
But I will say, like, and then like lay off the fucking CG like ghost shit at the end and have it be a little bit more mysterious and spooky, because I'm not a horror movie guy, so it's not hard to like spook me, but there were a few like creepy scenes in this film, like when the Razor scooter's just like doing its own thing in the house. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
that's scary. I don't like that. And there's a couple jump scares that I'm like, you got me.
I hate jump scares though.
Yeah, I know. It feels like such a cheap shot.
It is cheap.
It
This movie
is.
could have been better if you cut out the jump scares and focused more on like actually creating an element or like a feeling of terror or dread.
Yeah, that's the thing. Scary movies aren't for me either in a lot of ways. And I think the ones that are most effective to me are the ones that do just have that like persistent build of dread where it's just like, oh God, I am so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
Like, where is the release from this?
It's like
Death.
it's scare edging.
You scare edging, exactly.
But like, I think this movie does it decently. Again, this CG isn't the worst. The worst CG is the witch.
I mean, the ghosty kids were not the best either, but
Well, when they start flying, yeah, that's bad. But like, when he's in the fucking like void with all of the ghost children, that was legitimately spooky.
it was. That was actually a cool little shot and scene.
What is up with that bridge? Because honestly, there's no supports to it. It just like goes and goes. No.
Well,
vertical.
on the last day of Salmon, there are bridges that can float.
This movie turns into Silent Hill. But like, when he's walking through all the dead kids, all I can think about is the episode of The Simpsons, A Streetcar Named Marge, where Maggie's in the daycare and they can't have their pacifiers, and like they do the Mission Impossible, like get all the pacifiers. Homer goes to pick up the babies and they're all in one room sucking their pacifiers in unison, so you just have that loud echoing pop, and Homer just like creeps through, picks up Maggie, goes out, closes the door, and just goes, babies. But so like, I mean, large parts of this movie I found mostly inoffensive. Like, the acting's not great. Nick Cage clearly doesn't care that much.
Yeah, he's in his like slow dad run phase.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Speaking of inoffensive, how did you feel about Mia's mom's broken English? Clearly, she's a native English speaker trying to do broken pidgin.
Oh, God, that is rough. Yeah, it's like,
I was
please
watching
don't do that.
It's like, maybe I am a soft boy. I don't know if I can handle listening to this. Like,
It's like,
borderline
this feels
racism.
racist.
I did. So you guys know how much I hate whenever like there's a large time jump and everyone like looks the exact same. I do appreciate that the detective, they let have a little stubble.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
The passage of time. Really working hard on growing a beard. He sucks at it, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they have rules.
Yeah, stupid cops.
Cops don't have rules. Speaking of stupid cops, that cop at the carnival, when he's telling him, and that cop's just like, I don't know, maybe he went home. Fucking stop bothering me,
bad
dude.
cop.
What?
It's like,
You think I gotta care about a kid being lost?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
we're right back to bad cop, and
Oh.
I would say bad kid.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna jump into that right here.
It probably wasn't his fault so much, but yeah.
What, Charlie?
Well, he didn't like choose to get abducted by the witch.
Hey man, he was just sitting there looking all juicy and Protestant. That witch is definitely gonna take him. I'm assuming he looks
Probably.
Protestant.
Yeah.
I don't know what a Protestant looks like.
I was like, I kept getting tripped up by Charlie's room because it's just like, here's the child's room starter pack. Here's dinosaurs. Here's animals. Here's an Iron Man. Here's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sports wallpaper. I'm like, none of those things go together.
But it's
Yeah.
just like a wall runner. Like,
Yeah.
it's like trim. It's a false horizon for your bedroom.
This movie was weird to me because like it is bad. Like it's not a good movie by any means, but I did not have a bad time watching it, which is a very strange thing to kind of square. Like I wasn't sad about it. I didn't like get offended in a major way. The CG was fine, you know, like the acting is pretty mid, but like nothing about it was like this sucks, you know.
I mean, like I said, inoffensive, which I think is worse because it's just gonna like we're never gonna think about this movie. This movie's gonna be forgettable.
But it's funny because
Yeah.
all the other people that we talk to who do Cage podcasts are like, ugh, Pay the Ghost fucking sucks. And I was kind of like hyped for bad. And it was just,
I mean, I think, and again, I think there's a argument that like something this mid is worse than something so terrible that we could get like we can actually milk it for content.
Yeah, they like fully missed the mark on being a good movie and a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what we ended up with was like Ghost NATO. And
I mean, you did get
Yeah.
a Ghost NATO in there.
yeah.
Also, okay, I want to talk about Blind Sewer Man.
Oh yeah, please talk about Blind Sewer Man.
So when Nick Cage sees the pay the ghost sign and like goes underground and finds this like unhoused encampment, they seem to be led by this one blind guy with dreadlocks who only speaks out of the corner of his mouth, but like he seems to know about like the ghost and like seems to be the only person who knows what's going on. It's like, what does pay the ghost mean? It's like, follow me. And he like picks up a torch. Blind guy just walks over to like a fire bucket, picks up a torch, no problem, and just wanders Nick Cage through the hall. Later, we find out the guy had a flashlight the entire time.
Torch is way more dramatic though.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I did like when he pulled out the flashlight later and hands it to Nick Cage and is just like, you'll need this more than me. It's like, well, wait a minute. Let's go back to that torch scene where you bogarted the torch.
Because this is during the day when he like goes down there the first time, but later on at night when he's trying to get to the bridge between worlds, that room that needed a torch, fully lit.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, he had time. Like, he knew Nick was going to be back.
He fired up the generator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another fucking weird, only Sean cares about this because there's something wrong with my brain. I really hated that when they were having the dramatic like scene in the tunnel with the torch, the source of light is between the two of them, but you always see both their shadows cast behind each person.
I didn't notice that. I thought that was just showing that the like gateway was being opened because then the witch does the jump scare or whatever. Because the shadows shift around behind him in that scene and then the witch pops out and then it's the end of the scene because he's like, I think it's time to go.
Yeah, it's also behind that guy.
I don't know what else this DP has done, but I don't think he's getting a whole lot of work.
I didn't do a good deep dive into into what anyone did from this. I couldn't even tell you who directed this movie.
Oh, okay. Turns out it was Sidemouth himself.
I hated his
homeless.
I hated his white guy dreads, but I think I've just got a bias against white guy dreads.
Unless
That's
you're Perry
reasonable.
Farrell in 1989, you can't pull them off.
But that was pre-internet, so
Yeah.
it's okay to have dreads pre-internet.
Now post-internet, look at Perry Farrell. It's not good. He's getting in fights with Dave Navarro on stage.
Yeah, everybody knows Perry Farrell can't take Dave Navarro. Look at him.
I mean, Perry Farrell waited till after Dave's long COVID, so maybe that's when he thought he should take his shot. So in this movie also ends with fucking sequel bait with his like research assistant who is like been impaled on rebar coming back to life.
Conveniently left out in the middle of the college commons. Just thrown out of a window into a
nobody
fucking
noticed.
red square. Just here's where we keep our rebar. When I was watching this movie and we got to the end there and like they pull the kids out of the fucking gate, I was like, oh man, that kid is never going to act right again. Like his life is fucked. And then immediately, oh, we were just at the carnival. It's like, oh wait, nope. Convenient memory loss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're right.
No
that kid
trauma
would be
here.
so jacked up.
We finally got back to it. It's been a year. The kid has no memory of being abducted for a year, so he just thinks it's the same fucking day.
Yeah, except somehow dad's wearing different clothes, not dressed like a cowboy.
Kids
anymore.
don't pay attention. Yeah, right. What happened to your cowboy costume?
I'm assuming pictures of dad are missing from the home. Like, there's been a year of estranged relationship.
That's a good point.
Mom's into scarification now because she's got like a big
Mother maiden crone.
brand on her.
All of his friends are going to be a year older. Like, cops are going to have questions.
I was thinking about that too. Like, what does Nick Cage explain to the cops? He brings 3 children back from the underground magically, and then it's just like, don't worry about it. I saved the day.
What's that kid gonna think when he finds out that some lady died in his bedroom while he was gone?
Just burned from the inside out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Just smoked.
It's like, why does my room smell so funny?
Yeah. It's such a weak little thing at the end.
The story has like promise. It was just so poorly executed, I feel, that like there's plot holes all over. There's the need for those large exposition dumps. Like it needs so much.
Even when you break down the aspects of a horror film and like Nick Cage getting blamed for like the kid going missing, like it would make sense if he was a negligent father, if he wasn't paying attention, but he was just buying his kid an ice cream while holding the kid's hand. Like there's no arc to like Nick Cage's character. Like he doesn't learn a lesson because of any of this.
Nope. Nothing at all. Just like we didn't learn anything.
I mean, we learned we don't like this movie.
I learned that pagan rituals are being carried out by school teachers in the alleyways of New York.
I mean, that sounds accurate.
During that scene, did anyone else like, Nick Cage is gonna kick a woman?
Oh man. That would have been hilarious. If he
Just roundhoused.
like, kicks her into the fire.
You didn't give us
Sister
good
Pete.
enough information.
Sister Pete shows up.
In a bear costume again because it's Halloween.
He's like, not again.
I've seen this movie. Wham!
All right. Any final thoughts on this sucker?
I wish it was worse.
I kind of wish it was worse too.
Yeah, I don't think this would. I think pushing this into the it's a better movie category makes it still just sort of like a soft better. I think if you went really like worse, it would be fun.
Yeah, you would need some like serious talent behind this to make it good. Like that guy who made The Witch. If he rewrote and redirected and changed most of this movie,
Yep.
then that would be great. But kept Nick Cage.
I did have this one thought about this film, and I'm kind of going to try and carry it forward. Well, no, this would have been a better thought to have like in the 32 or 64. It doesn't really make sense in the Master 8 scene, as we know we like these films at this point. But just, I was thinking like, why is Nick Cage in this movie? Like, he brings nothing to this film. The only reason he's here is because he's a name. He is the only name in this film. Like, you're only going to watch this movie because Nick Cage is in it. But
Yeah,
Nick
he's just a
Cage
working
does
actor.
Nothing in this film. So it could have been any other schlubby dad in this film, and the film would have been the same.
Oh yeah, they definitely put out like shotgun sprayed this to every like talent agent or whatever, and Nick Cage was the first one to raise his hand. He's like, oh yeah, I did buy something last week, I need to pay this off.
This makes sense for him. I saw like a 9-second like little interview clip of him talking like about being inspired by The Exorcist for this film, and I'm like, you almost had it. If you would have cut out the Ghost NATO, maybe.
Ghost NATO, man.
I'm just, that was the other thought I had during the end of this movie. When the Ghost NATO started, I'm like, this is how Ghostbusters ends.
Yeah.
Also, wait, pay the ghost. What are they? Oh, they're paying the ghost with their children. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
what are they paying the ghost with? I'm like, oh yeah, their children.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be some like balancing of scales with that, but no, it's just about paying her back for her kids getting burned at the stake.
Now, is she
if only.
stopped? Like, I mean, we know like,
No, she's back. She's alive in the.
But like,
but is like the ghost back? Like, well, like, is she still a ghost, or is she now
in the lady's
walking
body.
in the corporeal world in that
We'll have to wait
lady's
for-
body,
we'll have to wait for the
checking
sequel.
out what her boobs are like? Because I assume women would be interested in that too.
I've seen that adult documentary.
Yeah, I think my recommendation is don't watch it. But if it's on TV at a bar or something in the background, pay slight attention because it's kind of fun and stupid.
Yeah, that seems fair. It's
Yeah.
not super interesting as far as bad movies go.
But it's not good enough to like demand your attention.
No.
Couple fun little scares, but otherwise toothless.
Toothless is a good word for it. All right. So next episode, when we're back, we're going to be back to the regular bracket, back to the Master 8. It's going to be a little bit of a different format again, because why not? And first up, we've got the action head-to-head of Con Air and Red Rock West.
Fuck yeah. Only bangers from here on out, guys.
It's true. It's all good shit from here on out.
Get ready to have strong opinions because we're probably going to offend you somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if we haven't yet.
Good.
So here's a thought I had recently. If we do the live record for the last episode, Peter can't edit out any of the things we say.
We're not doing a live record of anything.
Yeah.
No.
Peter doesn't trust us that far. Come
No.
on.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to chat with us on social media, it's cage_match_pod. We are on Patreon at Cage Match. And special thanks to our Sparkle buddies, Josh, Sean, Josie, Rico, Matt, Adam, and Bill. And to our Cage dancers, Ira, John, Freeman, Lance, Nathan, and Cameron. Woo! Still got it.
Nice.
That
Been
was
a minute.
close.
It's been a
It has been
while.
minute. Yeah. Join us to masturbate.
Yeah. Master 8 with us.
Bye.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was from The Great Escape is what they lampooned in that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I couldn't remember. This
Yeah.
would have been before Mission Impossible. The movie,
Because that's
not
the
the
like
TV
dun,
show.
dun, 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 dun. No, that's a different song. Never mind.
No, that was it. Dun, dun.
Was it?
Dun, 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 dun.
That's
Yeah,
the one.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All right, stop. We don't have the rights to it.
Ah, shit. They're gonna come for us. A movie from 1945. We're almost there.